What up, guys? Welcome back. So today, a $200 smartphone, the CMF Phone 1. This is from CMF. They stand for Color, Material, and Finish. They are a sub-brand of Nothing, and you heard it right the first time. This phone is $200. We're going to talk about it, but first, I'd like to shout out Barry Johnson, another dope creator. I'm going to leave the link to his channel below. Go check him out. He did let me borrow this device so I can review it and make a video on it. Check him out. Go subscribe to the channel and just, support another dope creator. But the CMF Phone 1, this $200 phone, we're going to jump into it, talk about it. We'll go over all of the specs, and I'll tell you if I think it's worth it at the end of the video. But if you're new to this channel, hit that like, drop a sub, ring that notification bell, follow me on all social media platforms. All of the links will be below. Now let's jump into the specs of this phone. So it does come with 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, but it does have expandable storage all the way up to 2 terabytes, which is crazy. Now on the back, there is a 50 megapixel rear sensor, and then this second sensor is just a depth sensor. So just a 50 megapixel rear and a 16 megapixel front. We'll talk about the camera a little later. Now, of course, being a sub-brand of Nothing, this is running Nothing OS, which is a very good operating system, one of my favorites, very smooth, and I love the look of it. Now, it does have a 5,000 milliamp battery, and it does offer 33-watt charging, but no wireless charge. It's running the Dimensity 7300, so a mid-range chip is in here. It's 6.67 Super AMOLED display. Now, this does also offer 120 hertz refresh rate, which is crazy. The display on here is actually very nice with a peak brightness of around 2000 nits. But first, let's just look at this device and talk about the uniqueness and the fun side of this $200 smartphone. Now, looking at the device, of course, you can see we are running Nothing OS. We got the widgets, the cool colors, the cool just blacked out apps on here. One of my favorite things about Nothing is the look. Well, one of my favorite things about their OS is the look and smoothness of their operating system. But if we turn this phone over, that's where the real coolness comes. When is the last time you looked at a smartphone and said, that looks like fun? Or when did they lose their fun? They used to be a lot of fun. Now they're just, I don't really hear ever anyone talk about how their phone is fun. This kind of brings it back to just a uniqueness, something cool about your phone that is really nowhere else on the market, which is hard to say at this point in 2024. But you could see this industrial look, this modular design on here. This is all interchangeable. So this does come in different colors. There's a very cool orange. CMF is known for kind of their orange color, their earbuds, their watch. They have some cool, vibrant, and very nice colors, and this is no different. So this is removable. You can see the screws on here. They do pop out, and you can throw a different back on here to give it a unique look. Now this button down here, this is also removable. You can mix and match different buttons on here if you want. Of course, you can purchase all of this directly from CMF. Now, this button is also used for different accessories. So there's a lanyard, there's a kickstand, there's like a wallet accessory that attaches to here and will sit on the back of your device. So a very cool look, and I love the matte finish right here on our 50 megapixel camera. Just a very, very cool looking device. Now for $200, you might say to yourself, well, it's probably cheap. Well, it is plastic, right? It's $200. So we are losing some things, but what they did throw into this phone for the price is a lot, honestly. It's a very good device. It's got the mid-range chip, right? It's got plenty of storage, expandable storage at that, plenty of RAM for what this thing can do. The display, let's just start right there. Usually we get a cheaper display. This does have 120 hertz refresh rate on here. So if we go into settings, we go into display, you can see right here, display refresh rate. It's on high right now for 120 hertz. So a $200 phone, and we have 120 hertz refresh. Now, you know who doesn't do that? These guys right here. This is a 15 plus. That's got a 60 hertz display. This right here is the 16 plus. This is a $900 phone right now. This has a 60 hertz display. But for $200, 6.7 inch. You can see the size of this thing. It's almost the same size as the Plus, as a 16 Plus. 6.7 inch screen on the Plus, 6.67 inch display on here. Now, another thing about this display, again, the peak brightness, around 2000 nits of peak brightness. Of course, I could blow it out for the, whoa, that's what she said. But back to that, I don't want to turn it up, but it does get very bright. So you can use this outdoors and in direct sunlight. But if you look right here at this device, at the bezels, usually on budget phones, especially at this price point, we're losing just the very nice looking display, right? We have unified edges all the way around our display on here. We're getting the widgets, the cool look, just a very good looking phone. And watching content on here is very nice. Now the speakers on here, it's just a bottom facing speaker on here, as you can see, and it is very easy to cover up.
So the OnePlus series that is offered over here. Now, that's all I expected to happen. If you compare a Pixel to just any random iPhone, you're probably gonna get the same performance.
And if you do cover it up, you really aren't going to hear anything at all. Now, we do have a optical fingerprint sensor on here. Now, it is a little slower because it's a $200 phone, but it does actually work very well. As you can see here, it does pretty much work every time, even when it's off. Like, you can see the slow animations on there. You can go in and turn those off if you want to, but I don't mind them on here. The optical fingerprint sensor on here is okay. Now, the haptic feedback on here is not that good. You know, again, we are losing some things, and that's where we're going to talk about the camera. So the front-facing camera, the 16 megapixel camera on here, it's okay. You're not going to buy this phone because you want the best camera. That's why you're never going to spend 200 bucks and get the best camera, but it's decent in some good lighting. You can get some acceptable and good photos, and that goes for video too. It's okay. Now, there's no image stabilization on here for video quality, so just keep that in mind. But image quality on here, as you can see, they look pretty good. They don't look great. They're not going to compete with anything above this price point, but it's okay for the price of the phone. Again, if you just want to pull out your phone, point and shoot, you can get some decent photos with here, especially if you're just posting on social media. Now, we did talk about this having the Dimensity 7300, so a mid-range chip on here, but overall, it is not that bad. You can see apps open, they do whatever you need them to do on here, and it does work pretty well. Like, I haven't had any issues, and I haven't felt like I've been missing out on things opening and closing apps. You can see it's very smooth, 120 hertz refresh rate, but you're not going to really, I just don't see you losing anything when it comes to opening and closing apps. It does work fast and very well. No issues at all with that, especially, you know, the apps that you use every single day, just Instagram, Twitter, things like that. They all just open up and run flawlessly. So if you're worried about feeling like you're using a cheap phone, that is not the case with this device. It did a very good job in giving us a lot. Value, bang for buck, right? We're getting a phone that is unique, that you don't see anywhere else, where we can go and customize and change the backs and give it a unique look. You change it out once a month, you feel like you have a new and different phone every time. You can change these out to give it a different look. You can put a black button or an orange button on the blue back and have a nice different look. You're running Nothing OS. You will get 2 years of software updates and security updates. Now, that's only 2 years, I get it, but it's still only a $200 phone. The camera quality on here is good. Now, if you want to use this phone for gaming, light gaming on here, you're going to be fine. If you want to do some heavy, more intensive gaming, well, this isn't the phone for that. But light gaming on here, like asphalt racing and things, you're not going to have to worry about. But overall, look, for a first-gen device, for a first-gen phone from CMF for this price point, it is very hard not to recommend this device. Now, also remember, the battery life on here is fantastic. Easily over a day, 5,000 milliamp battery, no wireless charging. Of course, we get this back that's removable. Now, just because the back is removable, it's not like the olden days where we can go in and swap out the battery. We cannot do that. but you can remove the back. But again, battery life on here is excellent, and the fast charge, 33 watt fast charging, of course, wired fast charge on here. Overall, just a well put together device. They threw a lot in here for the price. Let me know what you guys think of this device, the CMF Phone 1. That's it, guys. Shout out to Barry Johnson again. Check out his channel. The links are below. Peace.